Good morning. We could nothing do in giving back our identities today. Outside, I was awoken here, and outside was played with drones like it was here. We will around the house, and yesterday were other things to listen to too. And it's a lot of around, yes, and some waste on, and I think, and some play very curious games here. And it is like it is, yes. There's no help. Some persons mean we were coming for to be their help inside our own overtaken houses and homes. And to me, that is a very sad circumstance, and I've lost a lot here. Because I don't know if my father is alive. My mother I heard 2 times, and some worked against her now, yes. And there are possibilities to send out persons or to do wrong things to them, to name that, and being sent out as very racism and very sad. And I remember my own histories here that were for sure no normal travelings, and in cases of being founded at other places, and how they destroyed the help also not. Yes, and what happens here? He's living and playing person, yes, and he's doing nothing. Would like to force everyone around to do everything for him. And it is a home or ex-room of persons I worked together with, and diplomatically persons, yes. And I'm not interested in that they are explained for to be death, or couldn't change anything here. We could not work together with any normal politician that ways, only with false things. Yes, and the person mean to be that better behaving or not, in cases that are very strange and worldwide set under terror, like that happens to our families in many cases. And what else to say? It is the harbor front, I think it does not change, and the unsown places of Venice can, yes. Because there is a lot of to build up and to make it like it was before. On the other case, it interrupted flood being in giving commandos from wrong sides is also to be stopped. Yes. Then on many sides, I think it is very necessary to prove how persons got something, yes, but not from the offices like they are set up now, because it is a wrong meaning when we knew to whom it belonged and with whom we would like to have a dinner inside that time. So would like to talk to, yes, and these friends are very misty and also not able to talk something about my history and how we lost in that ways by that person that came now inside, yes. And so I think it is very good man to leave us alone, yes, and never to care for that we knew each other in which way ever, and couldn't be a part of to whom to talk now, yes, because of our knowledges would have been very important in togetherness with theirs, but all the others that destroyed that connections work very sad to ours now. And it is in some cases here about whole houses and much more things, yes. Because here is no connection to the guests to ask for, no things that, no papers that lay anywhere, yes, and that is not how we would have known the partners we visited that times in the rooms here, yes, or talked to, would like to get on dinner, or being together somewhere, yes, and a lot of privacy things in that ways were destroyed, and it were in some cases only contacts and friends, in other cases very very hard to check things, yes. And what else? Privacy work at things, yes, and that is just a damaged thing by them. While the times we remember to be attacked, and after that and coming back, now and they're behaving and overtaking what was never their right, yes, because I cannot imagine that a man like him ever worked to get such a room or flat here, like they got it, yes. And so many things of ours were destroyed, and I remember meals somewhere, how they broke them with a force. We could reach our persons only over another marriage were coming out into other states, yes, and so on. And then in a lot of cases, I would not like to marry or know that person. Yes, for 2 hours it was on how to lose each other. Yes, and too many ships that lost somewhere too. Yes, bigger or smaller, and an system that is done wrong over the years at and over the harbors. Yes, like it is done in some cases inside the towns too. And to be awoken by a flying drone outside means a lot of horror. Yes, for another one maybe, and I would not like to know how the persons game them. Yes, by getting keys, doing trouble. Interrupt them in curious stories, yes, and not to know how it feels next to such persons, yes, and how we could get back what was ours without the feeling to bring us each other in danger or never to know again, yes. And I heard about that. The persons asked for me, and in 2 cases, yes. In my case, these are 2 films, yes, and it's a destroyed identity question by them. They laugh about, and the other side is laughing about that I'm losing my contacts because of. And I told them, do you think it is necessary to play with a heart attack? Yes, until we decide not to want to live in any way. Yes, because why we should. Yes, when everything we got is destroyed in the ways. Yes, we got it, and these were very great personal contacts for me, and very good lawyers, friends in politics, and other things, yes, I cannot meet now here. And with the knowledge to know about how everything was destroyed while others were held for years, yes, like slaves somewhere. And when I think about some closed rooms here or things that aren't open, yes, or remember the few days I could stand up somewhere, yes, when in the hardest war times, yes, and helped a few days or a few ways, and it never was like we would have meant ours before in that attackings of gas and slaughterings and so on, and it happened new. And while that overtakings of every coffee, they opened new coffees and under wrong possibilities new, yes, to the electricity, to concept of how to put the persons down under and torturing in very awful ways, yes. And that in religions that should not exist, while ours are an official broken thing here, but they lie about that history too. That is a very sad to talk about story, yes, and how they mean to explain everything wrong to Germany, yes. And to ours it is very sad to know about how they try to build up a history we never had, and how they discuss our older ages very wrong, and how they plan to give us into the next housing in that ways, yes, of any family, because it must have been their thought in doing something to someone at another place and giving the guilty our better working families here before. And that I often heard, yes, and the owner, the not owner of that homes here, yes, is shown in a video before, is not able to recognize that it was illegal what he's done, yes, and what he's doing, and against greater families, yes. And so it is in many cases here since the times, and so they work wrong to everyone.